Welcome back. Thanks again for joining us. Well, the power of young people is indisputable. When their passion, their energy, their drive is correctly harnessed, great things can be achieved. And that's exactly what Enactus aims to do. Use phenomenal ideas of university students to change the world, quite literally. Let's take a look.
In Shanghai, a growing number of people need a way to supplement their meager monthly incomes. Without an alternative solution, these at-risk individuals are left with few viable options to support themselves. Could those coffee grounds be fertile grounds? Place the grounds in a small bag, and it could become so much more than garbage. It could become a portable garden. These can easily be distributed and used to cultivate mushrooms that can then be sold for a profit. Who knew? It didn't take a board meeting to devise this strategy. Instead, it was a creative group of university students, young people thinking like entrepreneurs and taking action. Enactus provided a fertile platform for these entrepreneurial students to cultivate a sustainable solution that empowers people to earn additional income by growing and selling mushrooms. To become a member, visit enactus.org.
Isn't that absolutely inspiring? So innovative. And it comes from, as you've just heard, youngsters, not a boardroom, not government. But that's just one of many examples of the initiatives done by students from Enactus. So let's get straight into it. We're joined in studio now by Yunus, Suleman. He's the chairperson of Enactus' South African division, as well as in our Durban studios, Zanele Njapha. She's the deputy president, University of KwaZulu-Natal's Enactus team. Lady, gent, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Morning, Ian.
What is Enactus and how does it work in essence?
Enactus essentially brings students together as members of university campuses around the world. And there's about 70,500 students. So essentially what happens is members on campuses get together, identify outreach projects, and essentially uplift the communities in which they work by actually implementing strategies that they've learned both from Enactus leadership as well as from the university faculty advisors and business advisors. So essentially these projects literally are then showcased at a national competition, and at the national competition a winner is identified. And for example, last week, UKZN, where Zanele comes from, won the national competition, and they will now represent South Africa at the World Cup on South African soil for the first time ever in October.
Zanele, let's bring you into the equation now. Your university won. Talk to us about your initiative.
Well, I'm from Enactus UKZN, and my university has engaged in two different projects, and those are the ones we presented this year. The first being Karabo Beraka, where we look into agro-processing, because we find that in the South African context today, a lot of our farmers are just selling their produce as their primary form of selling. Now we're looking into agro-processing, where we're promoting a larger yield and allowing for greater reach. And the other one is to do with recycling. We're coming up with an innovative way to actually approach recycling that's new in South Africa. So now it's basically how we're getting incentives into the whole game, where the entire community is involved in recycling. So it was really great to win the national competitions on behalf of our team.
Just listen to you. I feel like I'm talking to a minister of some sort or an industry leader when it comes to that. How did you get involved in Enactus?
Oh, wow. I joined Enactus in my first year in university. And I remember I wasn't so clued up on what this organization was, but I was pushed actually by a fellow colleague. And he said, you know what, join this organization, you won't regret it. And I trotted along every now and again, but then I remember my first real Enactus experience was when I went to the national competitions in Johannesburg and Sandton. I never looked back. Since then, I never looked back, and Enactus literally has been my first love, and just developing the community and being business-minded has done so much for me in my university career and my academics and in my social life as well.
Well, I'm sold. I feel like I should go back to my university days as well. But Yunus, speak to us about how other students can get involved in Enactus.
I think it's important to get much more students involved. South Africa has currently about 3,000 students involved. We'd like to grow that number to at least 10,000 within the next 2 years. We have a population of about 200,000 students across the country. And I think the more students involved, the more projects can be undertaken and the more, call it, upliftment of the communities. So I would encourage a lot of students out there who are not involved in Enactus to really get involved, get the passion that Zanele is talking about, and really help the country achieve the National Development Goals and the Vision of 2030. And this is about youth upliftment as well.
Of course. And the stakeholders that are involved in that youth upliftment, there are a number of them as well. Is there a criteria that you apply to say we want to work with so-and-so so that they can transfer skills to these young ones as well?
No, absolutely. We have a lot of sponsors and they provide what you would call business advisory board members. And we have a board in South Africa which is a diverse board across various companies. But I think the big benefit is that having a global firm like KPMG involved, which has helped to set up Enactus in a number of countries around the world, has helped us to invite clients and even other clients out there, non-clients, to be involved. So I would encourage companies who have not been aware of Enactus to come forward and help as well, because it's not just about giving money, it's about giving time. And the time is what the students need, because that makes them more employable.
Indeed. You spoke to us a little bit earlier about the World Cup, and it's got nothing to do with football, but it is a gathering of individuals from all over the world, really, to showcase some of their initiatives that they've done in their respective countries. Absolutely. And then an overall winner will be selected. It will take place on South African soil?
Absolutely.
Speak to us more about that.
For the first time. So mid-October, at the Sandton Convention Centre, we'll have about 34 countries represented, and ultimately the number of students will be about 3,500 to 4,000 people. But there's also will be about 250 to 300 global chairmen and CEOs coming, because the companies that are involved are not just South African. They are global companies, and they're excited about coming to South Africa because some of them have never been here before. So this World Cup is really going to showcase the students, but as well as South Africa.
So, okay, it might be a little bit too late for someone to try and make it to this particular World Cup, but maybe you're thinking, the next time I know that I want to be there with my university colleagues there, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, Enactus.org, you would have seen in the video clip, there is a website. If you just search on Google Enactus, they can get into the website. And the CEO, Letitia de Wet, is also contactable. So the details are on the website.
So for just the university students and also all stakeholders who want to get involved, this is an absolutely amazing launch pad, especially like you said, these university students will be employable and hopefully by you and your company as well. So you'd want to make sure that there's a brand association there. Zanele, thank you ever so much. Well done. Fingers crossed for you when you do win nationals. Be sure to come back to Morning Live and tell us, okay?
Thank you, will do.
Okay, bye-bye. Yunus, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a quick